explosion. You see a house fire right there on the off of 4 Acre and Wilson on the west side. We know that 2 children are hurt.
Yeah, we understand these children have some injuries to their lower extremities. That is what witnesses tell us. Also, witnesses report they did hear an explosion when this occurred. And there you can see the smoky fire as firefighters try to get at this blaze in this house. And we saw a portion of a wall that appeared to be a moment ago collapsed in this house. That would seem to back up the information that there was some kind of explosion. There was word of a gas stove being left on there. There you can see, look at that, significant damage to that home. And a lot of work still for firefighters to do is to try to figure out the situation. That tape just in, and the tape obviously ran out there, but that gives us a look at how serious this is.
Yeah, we do know that the children were running, and at least that probably is some good news. They were able to get out quickly. How badly they're hurt, though, and how badly they're burned, we don't know yet.
We'll keep tabs on it. We'll keep you up to date. Well,
breaking news on the west side.
2 children have been seriously injured in a house explosion off 4 Acre Road. Channel 4's Fred Halstead joins us now live from the scene with more details. Fred?
Well, Rob, actually the address we're told by fire officials is 7902 South Limoges. That's how the locals pronounce it. We are told that an 8-year-old girl and 11-year-old boy were inside that house when fire officials tell us the house exploded, burned somehow, and that's what happened. Both of those children suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns. You can see there, this is video from Jacksonville Fire Rescue given to Channel 4. Both of those children suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns, both taken to Shands, Gainesville. They were at home alone when all of this happened. Right now, officials with Jacksonville Fire Rescue, Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, Bomb Squad, ATF are on the scene. They do not believe there was any criminal intent or any threat as far as any type of explosives inside the house, but fire officials do tell us that there was propane gas on the property, and that may have led to the subsequent explosion and thus fire. Right now, we have a lot of residents and neighbors in this area standing around trying to figure out exactly what happened. Fire officials tell us that there's a lot of damage to that house, but right now they have that fire under control and there's no threat to any of the other houses here in the area. Once again, an 8-year-old girl, 11-year-old boy inside home alone when their house exploded into flames. That's how fire officials describe it. They have since been taken to Shands, Gainesville with 2nd and 3rd degree burns. Of course, we're still trying to get more information. As soon as we get it, we'll certainly pass it along to you. For now, we're live on the west side. I'm Fred Halstead.
And tonight, me now, this is Crystal Poindexter. Crystal, tell me what your role was in all of this.
Well, I was in my house and then I heard the explosion. It sounded like a car hit my house. So I came outside to see what happened. And the little kids came running outside and they were screaming that there was burning. And my other neighbors walked outside and helped them. And my neighbors to the left of me took them in their house and put them in a cold shower and everything. I called 911 and like all my other neighbors around me called 911. There was about 6 people calling 911, but they was just screaming and everything. We was trying to comfort them as much as we could, and we was trying to find out where their mom was or where their sister was or how to get a hold of anybody.
And how badly were they burned? The anchors were asking me about their burn.
It's terrible. Their skin's just completely off of their bodies. The little girl's face is burnt all on this side and blistered all on this side, and all their skin's burnt off.
So what are your thoughts for the children tonight? Obviously,
I'll pray for them. They're just terrible. I felt so sorry for them. I busted out in tears whenever I saw what they looked like. Their clothes was just burnt off of them.
One neighbor told me that she had put them in the shower and that they were in a cold shower. Were you there for that?
No, I wasn't in there. I was trying to find my next door neighbor's daughter. I was trying to help her look for her daughter, and I was calling the 911 and everything.
We heard that the children had been playing with fireworks near gas. What did you hear?
That's about the same thing I heard. I'm not exactly sure about it all, but that's what I've heard from everyone else around and my neighbors and everything.
Most of the damage in the kitchen?
The whole house is gone except for one corner of the house. And the next door neighbor's car's windows is blown out, and their house, parts of their house is across the street in people's yards.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. I'm sorry you had to see all that today. Again, this investigation is continuing, and as far as the explosion, one witness described it to me when he saw it as the roof literally coming up off of the house and laying itself back down, and that the house is pretty much visibly almost collapsed at this point, and that the damage covers the entire surface of the house.
So, Lori, are we given to understand that children were actually home by themselves?
That's what I understand, that normally their 14-year-old sister is here. Maybe she stepped out of the house. We don't know all the details right now, and that's why we're waiting to certainly find out more information, which we will bring to you at 6 o'clock.
All right, Lori. Sure does look like that roof actually lifted off that concrete block house.
What a horrible story. Thanks, Lori.
We'll have more tonight at 6 o'clock. Now to our other big...
A home on the west side.
Both the bomb squad and firefighters are still on the scene at the home on Limoges Road. Fred Halstead is joining us live from the scene with more. Fred?
Well, we are told those two children have since been taken to Shands, Gainesville with second and third degree burns. Officials here at the scene tell us that the two children, an 8-year-old little girl and an 11-year-old boy, were home alone when the house exploded, caught on fire. The children immediately ran out into the street, and that's where some of the area residents and neighbors came to their rescue. As you can see here, this is video provided to us from the Jacksonville Fire Rescue. The house caught on fire, unbelievable flames. The house was smoldering, a lot of smoke going everywhere. Fire officials say they still do not have a cause and don't know exactly how the house caught fire or what the two children were doing inside. We do know that both children suffered second and third degree burns and were flown by helicopter to Shands, Gainesville. We caught up to some of the people out here who live out here and who assisted the children and may have saved their lives.
It was terrible because they were screaming. They're like, "I'm burning, help me, I'm burning." It was just so pitiful. I started crying, and they was crying, they was screaming, "It hurts so bad, help me."
And I saw flames, and the house looked like it fell over. So then I got out of my car, and there was a little girl standing there crying, and I asked her if everybody was okay, and she pointed to the house and told me the kids were in the house. So I went in there, and I helped the kids in the shower, washing them off, trying to keep them as cool as possible.
Fire officials out here say they don't believe there was any type of explosives inside the house, but they do say they found some propane gas on the property. Once again, if you just joined us, two people. We're here on South Limoges, here on Jacksonville's west side, inside a house at 7902 South Limoges. The house exploded or caught on fire, and two people, a boy and a girl, 8-year-old and 11-year-old, have been taken to Shands, Gainesville with severe burns. We're live on the west side. I'm Fred Halstead.
A frustrated caused the explosion, but they do say they found propane in the house. Neighbors were the first people to help the children. They kept them cool with water, and here's what two witnesses had to say to us a few moments ago.
It was burned off and everything, and I asked them what was happening. And Andrea, she sat down on the sidewalk. She was like, help me, Lord, I'm coming up to heaven. I'm going to go see my daddy in heaven. I said, what was you doing? What was you doing? She said, we was inside the living room watching TV. But Kendall was messing with fireworks inside the house, and the gas stove was on, and it was leaking. So whenever he lit the fireworks, it blew up the house, and they came running outside.
And like I said, when they left, they were awake. They were alert, so that's a good thing.
Again, investigators are out here still trying to determine exactly what happened, and we'll certainly let you know. What police have told us is that the two children were home alone. They are usually watched by their 14-year-old sister, we're told, and one witness told us that they kept asking for their sister as they were being cooled off in that shower. So certainly some tense moments out here for neighbors, but thank goodness those neighbors were here to at least attend to those children until fire rescue got here. Again, fire rescue is out here on the scene trying to determine exactly what happened. We'll certainly bring you more information as it becomes available.
So it's a possibility they were latchkey children this afternoon?
Just this afternoon, Jeannie. That's not normally the case, and we don't know if the sister just stepped out for a moment. We just don't know. From the witness accounts, we've heard several witnesses tell us that, yes, the little boy had been playing with fireworks and that there was a gas leak in the home, possibly in the kitchen.
All right, thank you very much, Lori. Stay tuned to First Coast News for continuing coverage on the story from the west side. We'll have the very latest on First Coast News at 7 o'clock on ABC 25.
Well, for years it's...
We're live with this developing news.
We're also...
Two children running into the streets on fire.
Witnesses say it was an awful scene. Thanks for joining us. I'm Beverly Brooks.
And I'm Russell Motley. It happened just before 4 p.m. The fire chief says a home here on Limoges Drive South went up in flames. Neighbors believe the kids inside may have been playing with fireworks. For the very latest on this story, let's go live to the scene where WTV 47's Tim Stockman is standing by. Tim.
Russell, they're not sure as of right now what exactly caused this house to explode, but this is a very active scene right now. If you take a look over my left shoulder, you can see all of the emergency vehicles still on the scene here. We are in the 2100 block of Limoges Drive. That is in Normandy Village on the west side. This was a massive explosion today. Look at this video we're going to show to you right now. This home was leveled. Investigators on the scene now. The fire that you see in the video is finally out, so they can get in there and do some investigating. They tell us now there were two children inside of this home, a boy age 11, a girl age 8. The house explodes, and they have no idea right now whether it was a bomb or whether it was some sort of natural gas leak. Reports from neighbors say the boy, however, was known to play with fireworks in his backyard. However, I should say that is not confirmed by JSO or by the Jacksonville Fire Rescue Department. These kids come running out into the street. They are on fire. Their clothes burning off of their body. Second and third degree burns from head to toe. Neighbors rush out to see just what happened.
Their clothes had been blown off. Their skin was burned off and everything, and I asked them what was happening. And Andrea, she sat down on the sidewalk, and she was like, help me, Lord, I'm coming up to heaven. I'm going to go see my daddy in heaven.
You can see that's the mother right there. We don't have any names released right now. She rushed to the scene, got here about an hour or so after it happened. The children were airlifted to Shands, Gainesville, where they are listed right now in critical condition. They have second and third degree burns all over their bodies. And now we have agents from the ATF, the FBI, and of course the local units just trying to sift through this rubble, what's left of that house, try to figure out what exactly happened, what exactly caused this home to explode. Reporting on the west side, Tim Stockman, WTEV 47 News.
More developing news tonight. Police say they've solved a bizarre...
We have some pretty dramatic video from the scene we can show you right now. We're going to go ahead and roll that. And you can see this home was just leveled by this explosion. If you tuned in a little earlier, you heard all about it. They're not really sure if it's a gas explosion or some sort of bomb device yet. The ATF, the FBI, all looking into this, trying to figure out what exactly happened here. We have reports of the kids running out in the street on fire, their clothes burning off their bodies, and second and third degree burns from head to toe, basically. These two children were airlifted to Shands, Gainesville, where they are listed in critical condition. And we're going to keep you updated on this throughout the night. Be sure to tune in to Fox 30 News at 10 for all the latest information. You heard it here first. Tim Stockman on the west side, WTEV 47 News.
All right, thanks a lot. What a tragic accident.
Tonight, they're in critical condition. Burned children are in critical condition. The blast, which neighbors said sounded like a sonic boom, demolished a house in the community just off 4 Acre Road. Channel 4's Fred Halstead is there.
Well, Tom, 11-year-old Kendall Campbell and his sister, 8-year-old Andrea Grant, remain in critical condition at Shands, Gainesville, with second and third degree burns over most of their bodies. The siblings were home alone this afternoon while their mother was at work when their house exploded into a fireball. Witnesses say it happened in a flash. Scraps are all that's left of this house on Limoges Street on Jacksonville's west side after a blast and a fire leveled it. Firefighters say the house just exploded, sending two children to the Shands Burn Center in Gainesville.
Just as we were pulling up, the house, as you see it now, was fully involved. Debris was scattered all the way across, probably 100 feet across the street. People were running everywhere. They were yelling, kids, kids.
Family members rush in only to hear the horrible news that the 11-year-old boy and his 8-year-old sister were severely hurt.
Their clothes had been blown off. Their skin was burned off.
16-year-old Crystal Poindexter saw the children dash from the house. They were covered with flames. She immediately called 911.
It was terrible because they were screaming. They're like, I'm burning, help me, I'm burning. It was just so pitiful. I started crying, and they was crying, they was screaming, it hurt so bad, help me.
Describe how badly they were burned.
Very badly. Their skin was falling off.
Other neighbors also rushed in to help, some dumping buckets of water on the children. Residents say they were startled by the explosion, and living on this side of town, they've grown accustomed to loud noises, like the engines from military jets.
It sounded like somebody was breaking the sound barrier right over top of the house, which is not common. I mean, it's not something we don't hear around here all the time because of the basis, but it was too close.
While firefighters put the fire out, the agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and the FBI and Jacksonville Police, JSO, were also on the scene. Investigators don't believe there were any explosives in the house, but they say there is a propane tank on the property, and that may have something to do with this house fire. Back live right now at 7902 Limoges here on Jacksonville's west side. You can see that is what's left of the house right now. Not a whole lot left, a lot of damage to that house. Right now, the mother of those two children is in Gainesville tonight trying to be by her children. Officials say they still do not have an official cause for why all this happened. We're live on the west side. I'm Fred Halstead.
Explosion. Adriana Grant and Kendall Campbell were home alone when the roof was literally blown off of their house. A 14-year-old sister who usually babysits had not arrived home from school yet.
We'll have an update on their condition. Some encouraging news about soy-based formula. A new study says it may not be as bad for your baby as first thought.
Transferred early this morning to Galveston, Texas. Now, if you just look behind me, you can see how devastating this explosion was and how much this house was destroyed during that explosion. And of course, those two kids were inside at that time. Now, investigators have been here since early this morning, since about 9 this morning, looking through the situation, going through each room, investigating, trying to determine what may have caused this massive explosion and what may have caused this to happen yesterday. Now, looking into that, and joining me live is David Cheers, State Fire Marshal's office. What have you found out so far?
We've just been able to get into the structure after the fire was put out. Currently, the Jacksonville Fire and Arson Task Force, consisting of the Jacksonville Fire and Sheriff's Office, ATF, and the State Fire Marshal's office are on the scene. We've brought in experts from the Department of Agriculture's Bureau of LP Gas because there was LP gas that went to the structure. So that's an area that we have to explore and we have to have looked at professionally.
Is that something you're focusing in on now?
Well, as always, with every fire or explosion that we go to, there are many causes that could be there. There was LP gas going to the house, so that's something that we have to look at. Right now, it's too preliminary to put an exact cause or to focus on any one specific thing.
And when do you hope to have an answer to this?
Possibly by this afternoon. I can make no guarantees, but we're possibly that we may have a conclusion by this afternoon.
All right, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate that. Now, of course, the two children were flown to Galveston, Texas. The Shriners got involved early this morning with a call here to the local office, and they set up that transport to Galveston, Texas. We had a chance to talk with the local Shriners here about their role in helping these two children badly burned.
Anytime there's a child involved, and that's why we do this, is because of our care for the children. We get torn up a little bit inside, but our first mode of operation, of course, is to get the children under the doctor's care immediately to see what we can do to heal the burns.
Now back live, this is what's left of that home, and again, the two children suffered burns of over 75% on their bodies, second and third degree burns, and again, they are in Galveston, Texas, and hopefully getting the help they need to get better. We'll continue to follow the story and try to give you by tonight some cause of this explosion. We're live on the west side. I'm Brad Puffer.
Gas that did feed to the house.
Okay, were the children able to tell anything about what happened yesterday? I know that they were very badly burned, but did they give any clues about what happened?
At this point, they've made some statements that we have, but nothing that we can, talking to them directly has not been able to be accomplished yet due to their injuries.
Of course. Okay, and when do you think you'll be able to wrap this up based on what you're seeing right now?
Well, currently, as you can see, we have the Fire and Arson Task Forces here, so we have many people from the Sheriff's Office, Fire Department, ATF, and the State Fire Marshal's Office. We have a lot of manpower, and we're hoping to maybe wrap this up by this afternoon, but I can't give you that for certain at this point.
Okay, well, thank you so much, David Cheers, for joining us from the State Fire Marshal's Office. Again, Angela, that's all we know from the scene right now. The investigation continues. These guys have been out here since 8 o'clock this morning. Angela?
All right, Patty, thank you so much for that live report from the west side. Another day of hit and miss school bus service in Duval County.